What
I
have
can
you been
imagine.
doing, Bunto?
They're healing, though.
On that note, I'd like to welcome everybody to Bunto's Geritol Gang Christmas Extravaganza. It's the day before the big day for one of the suckiest years of all time, 2016. I'd like to welcome my fabulous guests, Green Soul Sufi, Kazoom, my favorite Patrick Thacker, and St. Tommy. How y'all doing tonight? Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Happy Hanukkah, bitch.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa is Islamic. Okay,
No,
We're
I
live.
didn't know that. Okay, aren't you guys grateful, like the Christians are, about Christmas tomorrow because you get gifts? Yes or no?
I got my gifts tonight.
Right, it's a reason to buy yourself something.
No. We did Christmas over at my wife's family tonight with her brother and the grandkids and all that stuff, and then everybody does their little thing on Christmas Day themselves. But
True.
I don't know what I'm getting for Christmas for here at my house, but Christmas Santa was lovely to me for me this year already, and
Okay, Christmas is pretty much for kids, or is it still, what is it really Christmas nowadays?
Christmas
Commercial
is
enterprise?
it's what you want it to be.
This year I find it a little depressing, but it ain't over yet. It ain't over yet. But this year it's a little heavy, a little bit. But I got some lights up, so it's good. It's good. I got some lights up. I really like the serene Christmas lights.
Okay,
that was pretty good.
You guys know nowadays you don't even have to, get your lazy ass up and put lights around the house. Now you can just buy this thing that just shoots laser lights on your house.
Oh, no shit. I want to get one of those.
It's a wonderful time to be alive.
I want to point it at my neighbor's house.
Right. Fuck their house up, right? Okay, you're supposed to set up a tree and you're supposed to put out Christmas cards and stuff. So this year you just bypassed that, or did you actually effort?
I have a small plastic tree up. It is not a penis. It is not a penis, as our good neighbor Randcam intimated that it may be symbolic of. It's just a plastic tree. If I wanted to put up a penis, I would put up a penis. But it's just a Christmas tree. And yes, I have a small plastic tree with lights.
No need to compensate with a big 9-footer. Okay, kids. So did you set up the Christmas tree or not?
Yeah, set up. And I don't think of most of this stuff. I don't think really has anything to do with actual Christmas. It's all just still a continuation of the pagan decorations and things like that. And around here, the winter.
My God, where did Kazoom's body go? It's just his head. Shit.
Right.
All we
could afford was the head.
The weather we have here, though, it gets so depressing. It's just cold and wet and rainy, and
I love it.
And
that's Christmas weather.
Sometimes the winter decorations are about the only thing that keep your spirits up.
Okay, you try to outdo the neighbors, all sorts of lights on your house and Christmas decorations?
No.
I would like to. I would like to move into pyrotechnics to include it with my Christmas lights, but this year it wasn't.
Make it look like a rave.
It wasn't.
You wanted it, you got it. The hottest band in the land, Tommy's house.
Yeah, sparks, fucking loud bangs, whole 9 yards, yes.
Hey, Bunto, I have an idea. of next year. I want to get a tree and then burn it outside on Christmas.
That's a
long-standing Islamic tradition.
Yes, to worship Odin, of course.
Well, of course. I mean, why else would you? I mean,
I don't know. Celebratory bonfire.
Some of us just like to light shit on fire.
Yeah. I love burning things.
I think people should burn more in Christmas.
I can't say that.
Keeping it real for the pagans.
Well, I receive your good exhortation, Green Souls, and I plan to burn more here.
You know what? When I lived in Oregon, I used to take my little lawn tractor and the little wagon, and like a few days after Christmas, when people started leaving their Christmas trees out
Right.
for that one day a week where they actually pick it up. I started picking up everybody's fucking Christmas trees, took them out in the back. I used to have this big burn pit, right? I had this old 10-foot ladder. It was a wooden ladder, right? It was worthless anyway. I was using it. I knew I was going to need it for something someday. And I propped all these Christmas trees up on it, right? And yeah, I used a little bit of lighter fluid to help and some gasoline to get it started. But I got to tell you, I had like 50 fucking Christmas trees on this pile, and I lit it, man. And I got to tell you, it was like a flash. Oh, I got a fucking raging boner. I was just jerking off when that fucking thing just lit up so fucking quick. And it was bright and crackly. I mean, I'll bet you could hear the crackle
did
fucking half a mile away.
Did the fire department come to make sure everything was okay?
No, it's burn season. Oh, you should see the fucking
They joined in, Tommy.
Burning that people would do out there, that, because people burn stuff out there because you always got to be chopping wood or clearing brush, or and so burning is something people do. You can't do it in the middle of summer because it's so dry. But
I got a tribe of pyromania advocates that live right across the street. This whole family, the first day they moved in, the grandma caught the front yard on fire, man. She fucking made a great big fire.
Her cigar fell out and she lit the
time, man. They'll have 3 or 4 fires going. I don't know. It's just part of their custom.
The thing that crosses the mind.
Fireworks are legal out here.
This for free?
You can buy fireworks at fucking Target here. I mean, you can buy fireworks at the convenience store out here. And like the town I live in, is really old, and the houses are really old. And you'll hear people like shooting off fucking skyrockets and bottle rockets. And, I'm like, fuck, man. I mean, these houses burn down quick enough as it is, man. I mean,
can you buy love?
Oh, yeah.
Can you buy love in your district?
Well, we can
always. You're really progressive when they have drive-through fireworks stands where you don't have to leave your car. You can just drive through. And
yes.
You ought to see the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot before the 4th of July, man. They've got a gigantic fucking place, right? So you can get your coffee and your fucking fireworks.
Hey, they have drive-through liquor stores in Florida. Drive-through liquor stores.
Oh, I remember those in Texas, man. They'd have them like right by the Last Chance. It was like Last Chance liquor stores.
Right.
Like when you go from into a dry county, this is back in 1981, probably. About 81. And you go in there, and we got a half a gallon of wild turkey, and we got a half a gallon of rum. Okay, and the guy, they gave us cups. They gave us fucking 2 bags of ice. They gave us soda. They gave us like Coke and whatever the other thing was to mix it with, right? Just for buying the liquor. They're like, hey, would you like cups of ice and soda with that? And we're like,
very gracious.
Sure. And they're like, they just give it to us, and like that was,
that's good business. Good business.
Oh yeah. That was before it was like, really against the law to drink, and they took it so seriously.
In Colorado, do they have drive-through cannabis outlets?
Massacres?
That's what I was just gonna say. I wonder if we'll start seeing something like that here in Washington. So
it sounds like
I seriously doubt they'll do the drive-through thing. For the simple fact is they're trying to find not you in possession of pot, right? And you've got to drive to the pot dispensary to get your pot, but if you're driving up it, you're still in your car. How do we know? There's legality things. They have to if they do it like that, then a minor can't be within so many feet of the entire fucking property, because a minor can't be within so. Like if there's a parking lot, I don't know if they have them in strip malls or something like that, but yeah, they're strict on where and how you can distribute it, and it's behind locked doors, man. I just remember that from Oregon.
Okay.
You can buy. Never mind.
I was going to ask you guys. Okay, you guys played with fireworks growing up, right? M80s and those
Yeah.
snakes. Remember, like
Yeah.
those snakes on fire.
Oh, those snakes were a joke.
Yeah, but they're fun.
Yeah,
For
22.
what? Scarring up the sidewalk?
Right, all that black residue that was left over.
Yeah, it
Sure.
was like, like cherry bombs are fun.
Yeah, smoke bombs. They were kind
I
of.
like
And yes,
it was sometimes fun to put the smoke bombs underneath a water puddle, and it would make it look nasty, like just some like toxic. It looked like toxic sludge in the puddle.
Wow.
we had a friend that put this stink thing down this girl's pants one day at school. I was in the 7th grade.
What,
Oh my
ammonia-
God, she smelled like
ammonia
rotten
nitrate?
eggs.
Yeah, ammonia.
It was that
nitrate.
rotten egg stuff, the stink mop, the stink bomb, the one that smells like rotten eggs and stuff.
Oh,
Ding,
wow.
ding.
He just like
Bolton.
went whoop, whoop, like that, and she couldn't get rid. I mean, she went to even it was in her clothes and shit, right? He
Oh,
just
boy,
dropped it in her
girl.
fucking pants.
It was ammonia
God.
nitrate. Ammonia nitrate. Yes, and just a dab.
Saltpeter.
Smelled like rotten eggs, man.
Now I'll
It's very
tell you one thing, it was funny as shit too.
Some
Yeah, I'm sure
Some
she loved
kid
it.
took a dump. Some kid took a dump in the hall of my kids' school, and then when classes changed, somebody stepped in it. It was a great
That
drama.
kid ran for president and won. All
Yeah, I
right.
know somebody was brave.
Okay, what was the littlest firecrackers? Okay, black cats were like the kind of biggest one, but there was like a little tinier
Little
one.
bitty lady fingers.
Lady fingers, yeah, the little snapper. You'd hit with a hammer and blow it up.
I never hit one. I just saw they had fuses, little bitty firecrackers called lady fingers. I think they were.
Like if your parents only bought you sparklers for 4th of July, would you really let down?
Sparkler, man.
They were illegal in my district, so all we got was sparklers and smoke bombs.
Yeah.
You know, that's and any firecrackers were, you know, highly prized, or M80s, man. Once in a couple
Right,
of times we
bam.
got M80s, but we didn't have the good ones.
And then a rocket with fins on it. That used to be a good get, like that. But, nowadays you're more concerned about lighting stuff on fire accidentally. So
Do you remember Locker Room, the air freshener?
Locker room.
Oh, I remember locker. I remember amyl nitrate.
God, somebody should be charged for something. That shit was sinister.
Are you talking
Locker
the same
room.
locker room I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's a little jar of shit. They sold it at the store. It was also
Oh
known as-
yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
terrible shit, man. I cringe at the
Oh
thought.
yeah, that was.
adolescent doing that shit.
And the thing is, it's like a few brain cells were lost, but they were fun. I mean,
It's been a long adolescence. What can I do? I've lost what I've lost.
Well, a good cheap one was like getting some hairspray and a lighter.
Oh, a flamethrower.
oh yeah,
Clear
I
all.
love that shit. Yeah,
I learned that
burned
watching
wood.
James Bond.
Me and my brother used to set model airplanes on fire, and poke holes in them with hot pins to make it look like bullet holes and stuff. Oh yeah, we
When-
burned a
when-
model, boy.
When we lived in San Diego, we lived in this one house. We were always renting because my dad was in the Navy. It had this little duck pond, this little miniature duck pond, and my brothers used to build all these model ships and airplanes, military shit. We used to get firecrackers, right, and like load the fucking firecrackers into the ships, And my brother was really good at like fusing them together and shit like that. And we drop cherry bombs from like a B-52, onto these ships, and the ship starts blowing up and shit. And some reason the ducks that came with the house didn't like the pond after we moved in. But
Right. Okay. When we were growing up, there was this thing called the Vietnam War.
yeah,
And they used to sell like toy M16s. Remember that?
oh yeah,
Yes.
I mean, is that still there for kids today? They sell like toy IEDs and stuff down at Walmart.
no, they sell them the real ones.
Okay. Is it good to sell a kid a toy machine gun, or is that politically incorrect nowadays?
Well, they have little kitty AR-15s,
They have
They-
kitty
they-
AR-15s.
little kid, yeah, and
I
it's cute. Some families are into guns and stuff like that, but I've also seen videos where they show kids a real gun and a toy gun, and they really honestly don't know the difference, you know. And I don't know, when we were kids, we pretty much knew the difference, but kids will pick up toys now that think they're real guns, you know, or they're toys, you know, because they're pink, you know, or something. And this isn't an anti-gun rant, but guns used to come in one color, man colors, you know,
Right, black
or silver.
We didn't have cap guns, remember?
OD green.
Cap guns, yeah, man. With those various type.
You can't buy caps anymore.
You can't buy cap guns no more. No caps. Cap gun.
Yeah.
What are they?
We used to play cops and robbers. We used to play army.
Yeah. You can buy paintball guns.
You know, do ambushes around the neighborhood. Okay. We had the recruiter come to my elementary school and show us, you know, a recruitment film when I was in 6th grade. I think maybe 6th or 5th grade. I mean, is that like politically incorrect nowadays? Or is that?
Yeah. I don't think they should be
indoctrinating youth.
I have no opinion.
If you live in a military area, and it's like career day, because kids start having career day now, and apparently like in the 3rd and 4th grade, right? And there's a military installation, you know, they're always involved with a lot of, you know, things like that, and they're always willing to go talk to kids and, you know, things like that, you know. But as for actively recruiting them, no, when they get into high school, you know, I mean, just,
you know, like the guy showed up and says, okay, let's see who cheers loudest, you know, for the services. And then when it got to the Army, he demanded us just to, you know, because we cheered for the Navy, for the Marines, the Air Force. And then for the Army, we had to go bananas and cheering.
Cool.
That's when you just shut up, though.
But I mean, you know, as a kid, we were like, you know, what Vietnam is like, you know, we didn't even realize what Vietnam was.
Yeah.
We knew what an M16 was and a B-52, but we didn't know what Vietnam was.
Well, I knew it was Vietnam. My dad was the, you know.
Have you ever seen Billy Jack?
Right.
Oh, I love that movie. Billy Jack 2, on the other hand, kind of sucked. But
Is that where he went to Washington?
it got
really. Billy Jack goes to Washington. Tom Laughlin, he was a great mind.
Yeah.
Carl Jung expert. Okay.
Really? Wow.
But Billy Jack, absolutely. First Billy Jack, a classic.
I saw that when I was like just a little fella.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I almost wanted to like move off to a commune or something.
I know, man. I wanted to join the Indian art colony and smoke pot with that hot chick, that hot 15-year-old chick.
Rednecks. I was
like, wow.
But I hate snakes.
Billy Jack hat. Okay, listen.
I'd have given my left nut for that chick. Well,
what stories did they tell you about hippies growing up when you're like, you know, in so did they tell you also terrible stories about hippies?
Oh no!
Oh God, yeah, dirty, filthy. Oh
that they would shit their pants. I remember my father telling me that hippies shit their pants.
They were idolized.
Like, you know, 6 or 7.
I was raised a flower child. They were idolized.
Really?
Sorry, they were. You know, hippie culture was good.
Incredible.
How do you get a bunch of hippies in a van, throw drugs in? How do you get them out? Throw in a bar of soap. You know,
right. The bar soap thing.
I was told not to join the military and to champion peaceful movements, and that war was not healthy for children and puppies and other living things, and yes, flower power.
Well, we used to get one, and I've taught. This is how I am connected to Jade, Turkey Cat Bender, is because I lived in the same area when I was a kid that she used to do protests in West Long Beach.
Wow.
When she was younger, because I was describing, you know, because we used to get the hippies. They would come out like to the housing area where you know the
families were
dependent. The families lived and stuff. They would like sometimes like block, you know, the entrance. You know, so there's a mom in the car with a station wagon with 5 kids, right, trying to get home. It's supper time. We got groceries in the back, and there's a bunch of these hippies standing in the street, telling us, you know, protesting some shit and everything. And there's my mom, dirty fucking hippies, and you know, I mean, that was what we saw. You know, it was just, and that's how it was presented to me, because I mean, because you know,
When you first met your first hippie, how did that impress you? Were you like scared?
no, that was
I
like
seen a man with very long hair.
I always thought I just always thought people in band should have long hair anyway. You know, I mean, that's what they, you know, I've never seen anything wrong with people in music having bald hair, tons of hair, no hair.
Sure, Pat, but I'm talking like when you're like 7 or 8 years old. I mean, you know, when you first see a hippie.
Oh yeah, they were like beatniks when I was a little kid.
No, really? Beatniks?
Beatniks turned into hippie. See, a lot of those jokes, right, about how do you get a bunch of Mexicans into a car, how do you get them out, and the soap one, and the this and that. Those same jokes, right? They went from being they evolved. They started with the beatniks, right? And then they kind of went to the Mexicans a little bit and stuff like that. Then it went to the hippies and the Mexicans. And well, this is Southern California. And but it was the same set of jokes, but it was like insert hippie, Mexican, beatnik, you know, the beatnik kind of thing. It took too many people a long time to realize that the beatnik scene had left before they would admit it had. But yeah, I remember beatniks, man. Dobie Gillis, you know.
Okay, but you know, you ended up being a hippie, right? I mean,
no,
was that?
I'm not a hippie.
You're not a hippie? Okay, well, I mean, you have very long hair.
So,
but you're not.
I'm not a hippie. I mean, I'm not a. I mean, if you mean like a Grateful Dead, peace, love, man, you know, eating everything organic and you know.
Okay, that's a hippie, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just a guy with long hair, man. I mean, I like long hair.
Okay, I came up in a really unique situation, Pat. It's like when I went to school, when I went to pre-kindergarten, like what do they call it, Pat? Before elementary school, like kindergarten or something, you know?
Yeah, pre-K.
Pre-K. It was like a half orphanage, half, you know, daycare, and you know, my dad would rail against hippies, right? When we're driving down the street and seeing any, he'd telling me these terrible stories. But he didn't realize at the school that, you know, who took care of us, Pat, it was the hippies.
Yeah. I mean, oh, geez. Yeah. Oh, God. My ex-father-in-law. Oh, shit. Every time when I lived in Maryland, every time he saw like black people pulled over on I-95,
right,
he started, goddamn drugs. Goddamn drugs. It's like, not everybody that gets pulled over on the freeway is drugs.
Okay, and then
yeah,
would you say like the veneers come off the hippie movement now? You know, people have no use for hippies. I mean, you voted for Trump this last election. I mean, our country's going, you know, completely opposite.
What do you mean a need for hippies?
Well, I mean, like hippies were protesters. They're, you know, we have this ongoing war.
No, look, like, protesting has changed so much. You know, people. I mean, and God, I've been to a lot of protests. I mean, not probably as many as Zoom or something like that, but you know, first of all, they should come up with some new chants for something besides da 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 da. You know, yeah, or no justice, no peace, or somebody come up with something original. But you find that a lot of these people that go to these protests, first of all, are just there because it's a crowd, man. You know,
right?
And shit gets when you get into a cause or something. I found out there's a goddamn fringe element to every fucking thing. Right. That's my biggest thing about social justice warriors now. Right. Okay. Is because I remember what a lot of these things like safe spaces and non-bullying. And I remember where all that stuff started. Right. A lot of it started in education. Right. The safe spaces and accommodations for people who had anxiety, you know, to help them or certain issues that they could help them pass the class, you know, maybe take the test, a little bit longer to take a test, or maybe take a test by themselves in a room. Make sure they ain't got notes or something. But certain little things that could actually help the person show what he knew, right? Without like freaking out, because some people freak out at tests, and a lot of that was like mental health driven. It really was. A lot of that came out of the mental health system, the VA, things like that. Now, everybody. Oh my God! If people, the safe spaces, I just remember the people that wanted certain spots of the fucking common area when I was going through the community college out here was just fucking weird. I'm like, what do you mean I got to get up? I sit here every fucking day and study before class, right? Well, this is where we do, and it's like, I don't give a fuck, and I got called out. I mean, not called, but I'm like, God damn, and they go, this is where we, and that was their safe spaces, and these people that go to college now, when they go to these colleges, I don't know, there's a catalog or whatever they call it that shows courses that a place offers, the professors that teach the class, so somebody signs up for these classes, right? And then they start protesting the goddamn class because it's something that they didn't. And it's like, don't you know how to Google a professor? Don't you know how to Google anything? Didn't you do any research before you? Why did you sign up for the class to begin with? Well, and well, they should teach this. They should. Well, okay, fine, but they don't teach that. You pick this class, so shut up and take this class. I don't know. It's.
Well, okay. One thing I like to offer is, like, when we were coming up in school, when I was in the '80s in college, we had Save the Whales and anti-nukes. But now this is what the kids have. The kids have, third gender and social justice warriors and safe spaces, right, kids? I mean, it's just their thing, what they use.
Yeah, that seems to be identity politics.
Right. I mean, that's just
everybody is uniquely fucking special, is what they tell everybody. Yeah, absolutely. And your feelings count all the time. And anybody that hurts your feelings should be educated on the fact that they've hurt your feelings, because now they know, and some people just need to grow the fuck up and just get a little bit of thick skin in their life, because not everybody's going to approve of everything people say all the time. Somebody's going to tell somebody, no, you can't do that, or no.
Well, we were coming up, guys, we had shows like All in the Family and the Jeffersons and stuff, that they would never dare show today's television. I mean, they've risen political correctness to an art, I mean, that's what they do, right? Kids, they like to be politically correct instead of themselves.
I guess.
What does that mean?
Well, I mean, like, we were ourselves. Like, we could watch Archie Bunker and laugh our asses off. Today, we'd laugh nervously. They'd probably condemn the jokes of Archie Bunker, wouldn't you say? Instead of like,
oh yeah, Archie Bunker even condemns those jokes. I mean, Carol O'Connor, he actually did that role for a reason. Was to play that, to show the bigotry in America. That was he actually said that.
But I mean, the jokes are funny, right? I mean, like, Mel Brooks jokes are funny.
Oh God.
You couldn't make Blazing Saddles today without, getting picketed.
Oh no, God damn! I posted the new sheriff in town on Facebook, and I had somebody private message me that told me, and
it was inappropriate.
that somebody that I wouldn't even expect it, and I'm like, but it's the fucking movie that was made, and I was like, I don't care. I'm like, oh jeez,
Okay, but this is just a fad, right? It's gonna blow over, right, kids? Social justice warrior.
I don't know what's going to happen at this point. Now that Trump's gotten elected, there's no way to even know. I mean, I think it's going to energize a lot of the SJWs to become even more extreme than they were.
Oh God.
Okay. Like even more performance art?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of them will start getting violent.
Violent?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, why
Same ones that want to stop the wars and stuff like that are the same ones a lot of times, and it's like that on both sides. Some people just like to go out and fight. That's why I stay away from protests and getting involved in any fucking causes anymore, because there's always that fucking bunch of people that want to go fight.
I'll just say, like, the only people I've noticed getting, reactionary were those people that took over the place in Utah, wasn't it? Remember, they're right-wing anti-government types. I don't see how social justice warriors are going to get all violent.
Oh, I mean, that's some places they already have towards people that are have differing opinions. That's already started to happen, but I think this will happen on a more wide level because once Trump starts to push forth some of the things that he wants, and he has the people on these shitty people on his cabinet, people are going to feel like helpless animals that have been, not helpless animals, but animals that have been cornered, and they're going to lash out. And I think that's going to happen. This 2017 is going to be a very ugly year.
Well, that's really optimistic of you there, Kiz.
Love it. Right.
Look, I honestly, Trump's even said a few times, a lot of the stuff he said, people that voted for him are going, he's already backing out on this. He's already backing out. Look, are some of the states going to repeal, letting everybody, whoever,
Obamacare,
whatever gender. Well, he's already said he's not going to get rid of it. He actually never even fucking looked at it. After he got elected, he Googled it.
Okay.
He even said that, right? But then he came back and he said, "Oh, there's some good stuff in there. I don't want to get rid of it. They just want to change it, which is what, or do things to it, which is what they've done to every program, like Social Security. They improved it, from this to this, and they brought it along, and I don't think what they call Obamacare is going to go away. It's not going to be like it is now, because right now it's pissing a lot of people off. But I don't think it'll be changed drastically. I think the basic structure, a lot of it is going to stay the same.
Okay, but okay, just the question is this. Okay, let's turn the reactionary knob all the way to 11. Okay, and so Trump starts getting rid of abortion rights. So what you're trying to say, kids, is that the SJWs, in order to have a reaction to that, will do violent things. I think
there will be violent protests. There will be rioting, and there may even be politicians being physically hurt.
Wow.
And okay. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
How in any way, shape, or form would that advance anyone's cause?
It won't. It won't. That's what's so sad about this. That's what I foresee.
And that's why the whole SJW thing had just gotten fucking. People that knew me a while back. I used to be an SJW. Like I said, I used to work in food banks and helping homeless people and things like that.
Okay,
now
what year were you exactly an SJW, Pat? What year?
Back, I actually, when I first came out here, I was, I actually would tell people, said, yeah, I consider myself a, and then when people started,
the 20th century or the 21st century, you're a SJW?
20th.
Because kids, SJWs didn't exist in the 20th century, right? There's actual warriors, politically correct warriors in the 20th century.
Well, they didn't have that name, but some of the
tactics, they did.
Social justice warriors in the 90s.
Oh, not in the 90s. No. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
in the 20th century.
In the 90s, there were people using some of the same methods, and I would speak against some of those methods. Some of it was, I've talked about this before, where I was people that will get in people's faces and go, "You have to accept me." It's like, no, that's a stupid statement right from the start. Nobody has to accept or like anything. And I've seen that kind of attitude for many years. So like I said, for at least 20 years. And but it never really started to take off that much until, this century.
Right, I agree.
But I don't understand why people will still use those methods and somehow think it does them any good.
Yeah.
It's never done any good. You can't alienate people that you're trying to reach.
Well, I don't know. Let me tell you something. I can picture Kazoom running down the street with a giant knife in his mouth, right? Buck half naked, right? With the big titties flopping and stuff,
really?
With bombs and shit strapped to him, and just running down the street, screaming like a complete idiot, So when he's sitting there saying that I think Kazoom's one of those people, man, that just he's a fire bomber, and I'm just kidding. That goddamn, this is life. I'm just kidding, Kazoom. No, I was just sitting there thinking. I was like, I wonder what Kazoom would look like with like a knife in his mouth, and a bunch of bombs strapped to him, running, and with that Kazoom look, and with your angry face,
As it's purple. Okay, but let me ask you guys. Okay, let's say I was against gun rights. What is gun rights now? There are no gun laws worthy today, so you can't say I'm against gun rights. But let's say I wanted, curbs on assault weapons. I couldn't call myself a social justice warrior, kids, right? Until, I got on campus and started asking for a safe space and curbs on assault weapons, right? I mean, you had to be a social justice warrior. You have to be on campus.
I don't normally see social justice warriors take on the subject of gun rights. So
yeah,
that's not one of their subjects. That's not part of identity politics.
Yeah,
right. So that was one of our viewers' questions. He was asking, is there such thing as an anti-gun social justice warrior?
Yeah, there's. I mean, I wouldn't call them social justice warriors, but there's people that think that all guns should just be confiscated. Period.
Really
nobody has guns,
sorry, Pat. But I was gonna say, what really sucks about being a social justice warrior is that you have to fit a mold, right? You just can't be creative with it.
And that's why I stopped calling myself that. It was because what had become, because I forgot who was explaining to me. He goes, you know what that is now? And I explained to me all this shit, and I'm like, oh fuck. Because that was when the Black Lives Matter shit started and everything. Matter of fact, up until the time the Black Lives Matter thing started, I was that was about when I had ended my, considering myself.
Why? Because they had a legitimate grievance, or
no, not from what we saw here. Is what just totally threw it in the shit can for me,
Okay, so what went wrong with Black Lives Matter?
The lunatic fringe took over, okay, like the shit here with the dancing cop and the shit at the Dunkin' Donuts, right? When the chick behind the counter comes up to a cop and writes Black Lives Matters on a police officer's cup, right?
Right.
And the cop didn't appreciate it, right? Well, and then his friend, who was the guy that used to do the dancing cop street, directional shit, whatever they call it. He started on his Facebook page that he said that it was a pretty shitty thing to do to a cop. Because that wasn't their. It's not Starbucks. Starbucks puts your name or whatever you want on your cup, right? Dunkin' Donuts doesn't write anything on your cup, right? So why did she choose that specific moment when all the guy wanted was a fucking cup of coffee? And they turned it into a complete goddamn shitstorm that these police were racist, and cops were afraid to fucking arrest anybody for the longest time. And the cop ended up the dancing cop who was a fucking legend around here. Everybody knew him for decades, right? Can't get a job because he's been labeled a racist. This has been 3 years ago,
So Pat, you blame the whole, that's one that the whole movement has to take a,
No, it's not the whole movement, but there's a lot of that when they take over speeches at colleges. When they're yelling, just shit, you know. I mean, and Black Lives Matters, you know, if you say all lives matter, you're a racist, you know, to them, you know. Your life doesn't matter because their life matters more, you know. That's like social justice warrior gone, you know. And I get it, you know, people want their identity and shit, but when you consider that only your life matters, you know, fuck you, you know.
All right. Okay, kids, is that what happened to Black Lives Matter? That, you know, they had an ideology behind them?
Well, I think the problem is that they didn't have leadership, and they let. I mean, they should have really pushed forth leadership that would say, no, you're not going to do this. You're not going to do this type of thing in our name. If you end up doing something like that, you know, don't associate yourself with this movement. We need to keep this a clean movement. And none of that happened. And so, as you were saying, the crazies, the extremists, kind of took over the movement. A bad attitude took over the movement, and a bad attitude can ruin any movement, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Look
So
at the hippies. I mean, you know, did Manson ruin it for all the hippies? I mean, you know. Yeah,
that was the last year. That was the
so Manson ruined it for all the hippies.
That was, well, he's Manson and what was it, the Monterey Pop Festival, when the what was the Rolling Stone, when they used the Hells Angels for security. That and the Mansons, I think, in my opinion, was pretty much the end of the hippie, the 60s.
But I mean, like, with your thinking, Pat, you would say, well, because of Charles Manson, the whole hippie movement had no validity. I mean,
no, it gave it a big stain. I think it stained it a lot, you know, because there was already that stigma, you know, that all because remember, that was when they had the communes and the love fests, and you know, the Manson family back then really wasn't the oddest bunch of people around. Probably, I mean, they were where they were because they were in the middle of nowhere, you know, at that ranch. But you know, and there was a lot of weird cults and wacko shit going on back then, man.
But anybody who comes forward and say, like, you know, Black Lives Matter has a point, you're going to go ahead and, you know, dismiss them out of hand. I mean, you know, there's an inordinate amount of black youths being shot by policemen.
Okay, but then when they talk about Black Lives Matters, they don't like to talk about and black on black crime, you know, or what's going on in your neighborhoods, you know. It's not just the cops, you know. There has to be some other thing. There's contributing. People don't go killing people in their neighborhoods because there's police. Okay, the police sometimes overreact, and I get that, right?
Okay,
I really do, right? But the police aren't killing everybody, you know. I mean, like, look in Chicago, you know, or any other city that has a lot of murders, right? Sometimes, you know, accidents happen. Sometimes you got a dickhead of a cop or some cop that, you know, but they're not killing everybody, you know. But and they have a hard fucking job that a lot of people could never probably understand or comprehend because they've never been in that situation. You know,
when it comes to them not talking much about black on black crime, the main thing they're talking about are institutions, are, you know, like police forces, things that could be considered systemic racism, and not something that's on individual levels. I mean, when you're dealing with systems, you're dealing with, you know, authority figures, people that are supposed to be upholding the law and protecting the people, doing the opposite when it comes to, you know, at times anyway, when it comes to the treatment of black people. That seems like that would be a lot more important than when people who are not authority figures, who are not supposed to be the ones upholding the law, are doing bad things.
Pat?
Okay. There's neighborhoods around here that aren't very heavily populated by African Americans, black people,
Okay.
whatever. Okay, and there's a big police presence in there because everybody hates the fucking cops. You know what I'm saying? It's Italian, it's French Canadian, Woonsocket. You know, it's it's parts of this town are really. We've got two big rival biker gangs actually have their headquarters in this fucking town, but yeah, there's some weird shit that
There's a
happens
lot
here.
of violence.
But no, but when it happens, it's like, well, that's why we don't go over there. But you know, more than when I lived in Oregon, but not as much as like Detroit or something like that, or Chicago.
Right.
But oh God, I know people that hate the fucking cop. I mean, they won't give the cop a time of day, you know, and the people out here, people get shot or arrested or beat up or something, and it's not black on, you know, the cops beating up black people. It's the cops beating up Italian kids or somebody that's French Canadian or somebody that's, you know, from Rhode Island or so it depends on where you live. You know, there are shitty cops and cops that like to beat people up sometimes or something like that, you know, but I don't think in an area where it's heavily populated black, yeah, there's going to be more shootings with officers against black people because there's more. It's a matter of numbers, you know, pretty much.
Is that there's an inordinate amount of black youths being shot by police. Now, the problem with Black Lives Matter in your eyes is that it wasn't the proper approach that they should have used. They should have, politely asked the cops to quit doing that? I mean, how are you going to reach the cops to quit killing black kids?
Well, okay, first of all, one way you don't do it is the way it turned out. And that's my biggest problem.
Well, now there's a greater awareness of you know, cops going out the river.
Oh yeah, everybody's got a cell phone, and you got people sometimes now, and you can find it on YouTube that'll bait a cop, right? Try to bait a cop.
Is that the way you see it, kids? That they're baiting?
Oh, I see. Yeah, because they'll see it. Yeah, there's video. You can see it. You know, I've seen them on YouTube. Right? I'm not going to sit there and post. You know,
I also see I see these videos also where people are going to places that are kind of like a checkpoint, and they know it's there, and they know it ahead of time, and they'll be all prepared, and will basically
challenge the police.
Challenge the police for their constitutional rights.
Yeah,
and, I mean, they'll waste the officer's time and try to push as many buttons as they can. And
time when you know test your officers to see if they actually do know the law.
No. Look, when you're pulled over and a police officer says, "Can you roll down your window, please?" and they go, "No," right? Well, you need to roll your window down. Well, make me or what? Why? You know, well, because you pull me over. If you roll your window down, we can explain. Well, I don't have to. Or like I said, you know, it's like when you want to start, it's your fucking job to start testing the fucking officer's knowledge of the fucking law. You know, there's a reason he pulled you over. Right. So if you comply, right, most of the time when you start pissing off the cop, you see it. You know, cops are human, right? And I know they're supposed to be above the law, just like everybody else, right? But you know, when people, you know, poking the bear, if you want to call it, or something like that, and they're digging for it, everybody's got that spot, you know. Right. It's like with any training, you know, somewhere in the guy's mind, he goes, "I know what the book says, but you know what? Get out of the motherfucking car. All I want to see is your goddamn driver's license." You know?
Oh, the car long hair. Okay, how about this, guys? Okay, we have this new technology called body cams that a police officer can wear, a law enforcement official. Have you guys heard of
I'm all for them. Yep.
Right, but the police unions around the country are arguing against them, you know, fighting for the right for cops to turn those off whenever they feel like it.
I think if you have them, you should have them on.
Right. Okay.
I mean, you either have them or you don't. You know, I mean, if you're going to have them, wear them. Turn them on.
They are public servants, correct? You know, we should hold them accountable for their activities at all times. Yeah,
but sometimes you should hold people accountable, the ones that do the baiting, you know. And I get where you're going with this, Punto. You know, but some people, they want to make a YouTube video, right? Okay. So they're going to go out and piss off the police, right? Or why are you filming this? You know, they're just asking questions, right? Why? Who are you? I don't have to tell you who I am. You know,
Okay.
just pull out your fucking ID card and shut the fuck up.
You
You know,
want
if
you
you're
want
making
cops to be, tough, right?
no, I just want people to comply. I mean, and there are cops that, you know, whether you comply or not, they're going to be dickheads, and I get that, right? But
Right.
don't go pissing the police off just to make your fucking YouTube video or make your political statement about how evil the fucking cops are. You know, there's enough shit to worry about with our law enforcement, without a bunch of people going around baiting the police and making it their fucking job to quiz the fucking police on the fucking on their job. You know,
Okay.
Something
they have other things to do.
Something I've taken notice of, though, when it comes to these people that will, try to, see if they know their job or whatever. Quite frankly, it's always white people doing it, and if black people even did a tenth of what some of these white people do, they'd probably be shot.
Or arrested.
Or arrested or whatever. And so they give white people a lot more lenience in this type of thing than if someone's black.
Okay.
I'll just leave that one alone.
We got kids causing trouble, right? Kids are just up to no good with their
entitled
challenging. Okay, but didn't they say the same thing about us, growing up? Well, the hippie kids, that they're causing a lot of trouble, so the kids are just being rebellious, right?
Well, look, Bonto, both of us know that we both went to school in the snow, uphill 6 miles every day, both way, up there and back, right?
But
we so we had it rough, right?
I know
but
for a fact
I remember
high school experience was a lot tougher than what kids are going through now. When I hear what they have like gay student alliances and pride.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like,
yeah,
that was unthinkable of me growing up.
And see, the thing is, like when you're in junior high, you're still at that. A lot of kids are still at that awkward stage, right? By the time you get into high school, kids are not quite, but a lot of them are starting to figure out kind of who they are. They're developing as a person, And when I was and just being around a bunch of other kids is stressful enough, right? For a lot of kids, right? To fit in, right? But now if you're not, if you're, there's all these alliances and groups and cliques, and there's always been cliques. It used to be the cool kids club, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, but now it's like there's so many of them that if you choose one, then automatically this group hates you, or I don't know, not like gangs, but
like tribalism.
Yeah, very, very much so.
Bunch of little, and then one of the things that goes on with it now too is, it doesn't end when they leave school. It doesn't end when they go home. It's on their smartphones. It's on their social media.
Yeah.
So if any sort of situation happens where they did something that they're ashamed of, they have it smeared in their face constantly everywhere they go.
So there is bullying.
Yes.
Okay, because kids complain a lot about bullying nowadays. It's like, well, everybody gets bullied, kids, but they get it worse, right?
Yeah, I mean,
it's worse in a different way. I'll say it's probably equal to what we dealt with, but it's different. The way that the bullying,
the way it spreads.
Yeah, but it's not. See, we had to worry more about physical bullying. They have to worry more about mental bullying, and I think the mental stuff can be more damaging. Sometimes the mental stuff can be more damaging than the physical.
Yeah, it's both. But what I'm saying is, back when you were in school, or when we were in school, you got bullied at school, and we're not talking about what may have been happening at home. You might be abused at home and like that, but the stuff at school only happened on school time normally, right?
Yes, exactly.
But you got to go home, and maybe oh my God, you didn't talk on the phone for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Text that just didn't happen. So, you might be able, your parents might let you use the phone for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or something like that, unless you were one of the special princesses that I get my own phone, and until parents realize that they don't know how to not use long distance. But you know, and it would spread maybe 2 people a night, or you know, but the way stuff spreads, what used to take a week sometimes to get going, now takes what, 5 minutes, you know,
Yep.
because it can spread that fast, and with pictures, and you know, I mean,
Okay, but bullying. Okay, you guys are saying that bullying doesn't build character of the person. It doesn't make them tougher.
what, getting picked on and just people shitting on you, and
Well, I mean, you know, I remember when I finally wouldn't take shit at school, you know, and I'd back people down. I mean, that eventually happens, right?
yeah, when it
Well,
happened to me, I got the guy goes, "Oh, now you want to fight, huh?" And then he beat the shit out of me harder, you know. So
Well,
that doesn't always work.
I had, you know, friends and they had older brothers, and so I just threatened to tell them, and so they would leave me alone. I mean, you know, you got wiser with the bullying. You learn how to handle bullying. That's what I'm saying. Instead of you like actually indulging in what they want, you actually learn how to mitigate the effects of bullying.
Well,
Like,
there's also, it also makes some people become more shy than ever. They try to do whatever they can so they don't ever get bullied, but then it's usually unsuccessful. So they just end up being broken.
Personally, myself, I took the bullying thing as a little kid, and now, mind you, I still got bullied sometimes, but it wasn't as bad. I didn't get beat up like a lot of kids did, because I turned a negative into a positive. I became the clown,
Exactly.
the joke, right? And if I was funny, or if I would do something weird, or you know, something like that, you know, I was entertainment, right? And back then, you know, and I tell people all the time, I said the only thing that saved me, because I can't fight, you know. It's funny to watch, but and I'm not very good at it, you know. I mean, I'll bite, because that's about my only defense, or
listen to this.
balls.
Okay.
But you know, but that's how I got away with a lot of it, right? Because it was 2 things: you don't beat up the retarded kids, and you don't beat up the clown, because they're both entertainment, you know, and you don't want to lose your fun. So I put myself out there, you know, be the butt, you know, the joke and yuck, right, and all that stuff, but I didn't get beat up as much.
Well, look at this. Like, we were just talking about Black Lives Matter. So like, Black Lives Matter bullies cops, right? Cops need to like learn how to mitigate the bullying.
Well, I don't know. Both is a time and place for everything. You know what I mean? You're not working if you're working at a certain place, you know, serving coffee, right? That is America's favorite, by the way. They say so. And well, and out here, but it's not, you're not there to make a political statement. You're there to make a goddamn cup of coffee. Period. End of story. You know, and like,
okay, well, I'll give you an example, Pat. Like, we had a disabled veteran, go to a cafe here, and he had a service dog, and they refused him service, and so, you know, the whole town protested that restaurant, and they, you know,
I don't know the circumstance.
But I'm telling you that's like, you know.
Oh yeah, I've heard of if it turned out to be the guy just was a dick, you know. Yeah.
Well, he had the owner was out of place, I believe. Well, yeah, kids, have a good night. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Yeah, it's sort of like protest in general is frowned upon, right? But it's essential to any society. You need to air your grievances, because if not, eventually you'll have some sort of explosion. You remember like Mississippi burning, when, you know, they wouldn't even let a black person go to the University of Mississippi.
Oh yeah.
So I you know, the Black Lives Matter, I know it's like distasteful, and a lot of people, you know, their approaches and stuff, like Kiz was indicating, but you know, I still see it as valid. This is my take. So you got big plans for Christmas?
Yeah, you're looking at them.
Right, I know. Me too, Pat.
Yeah, yeah, we did the family thing over at my in-laws tonight. Now, oh, and then on the way home, I got to tell you, this was really fun.
All right.
I enjoyed doing this. you got some Christmas money and stuff like that on the way home. Yeah, I was stopping by my buddy's house to, pick up a little bit of Christmas green. And
some good news.
yeah, and he's got the cutest kids, and I stopped and got a few toys and stuff, and this little Mickey Mouse drum thing. You turn it on and it lights and shit, and makes a lot of noise, and comes with these drumsticks and shit. And the kids are just beating the shit out of that thing.
Oh my
It was
God.
just fun to watch. I love watching little kids. I like Christmas for
love
kids.
little kids,
I mean, yeah. I mean, other people's, but because they go home, But yeah, I really had it. I was over there for a while, and then I went and visited my wife, and but
well, I hope she recovers soon.
yeah, it's gonna probably be a while, probably, But
This year, it's been one of the most dismal years of all time, 2016. I can't wait for it to end. Are you looking forward to the new year?
it's January. It's one step closer to baseball season.
That's right.
I mean,
Socks.
spring training, man. Fucking February 12th, pitchers and catchers report.
Right.
It's been on my calendar since I was a kid, But yeah, it's
are you using baseball on your Slingbox rig?
I'm gonna subscribe to Major League Baseball, the MLB channel, and get it's like $150 for the year or something shit or I don't know, but it's just I can pay it monthly or just pay it once, but yeah, I can, and then when baseball season's over, it automatically goes away, and then college football season, I like to get the extra package for college football, and then when college football season's over, and it's easier to do it with this shit, because if you want one thing with a lot of these cable services, you got to have all three, and he's like, well, I don't want to watch that, and it's different. I'm getting used to it. It's like I said, second or third month we've had it, but
sounds like a good deal, though. I think
I can pretty much watch what I want. I mean, you'd be surprised just by this what I found on YouTube. The stuff that they actually have on, and I'm not talking about YouTube Red, because I don't give a fuck.
Just regular YouTube.
Yeah, there's some shit. I mean, I'm into this documentary. I love documentaries anyway, but
me too.
Especially like wartime documentaries, and I'm like really into like World War II, and and especially and just different people do documentaries on exactly the same thing, and they take different spins, they take on it, I mean, God, look how many videos they have of
some people are like Hitler was misunderstood.
Oh yeah, there's oh man, the Nazi stuff. There's film reels of Nazis, war criminals being executed. There's like not virgin, but clean film of just nothing, silent movie of prisoners getting like released from just footage of stuff, and it tells you what it is, and there's no music or narration or nothing, but yeah, it's pretty fucking interesting, man.
Oh, sounds interesting. Well, I'll tell you what, Pat, I think I'm gonna go myself. We'll have a New Year's Eve hangout, and I'll invite you to that too. But I'd like to wish you, all of our listeners, a happy Merry Christmas, and I hope everything goes well for them this weekend.
Bye-bye. Merry Christmas.
Take care.